What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies, home of Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today, I am talking about what the Memphis Grizzlies need. But first, every hero needs their theme music.
KeyAno.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Diamond respect and let's go, boy. He that MVP.
Well, since the Golden State Warriors have been eliminated from the playoffs in much the same manner as our Memphis Grizzlies, I guess I can end my vacation and start talking about this offseason with a smile on my face. So that's what I'm going to do. And today I am going to talk about the 5 needs that I have identified that the Memphis Grizzlies need to take care of during this offseason. So it's going to be a big offseason for Memphis Grizzlies head of operations, Zach Kleiman. And he is going to have to get some things done. And this offseason, there are no excuses. So first and foremost, the number one thing on everybody's wish list, the numero uno, the biggest deal, is the Grizzlies have to get a starting small forward. With the news that Dylan Brooks is most likely not to be brought back to the Grizzlies are obviously in need of a starting small forward. Now, of course, we all have our hopes and dreams on making a big trade, a big splash this offseason, and bringing in an impact player at small forward. But I would caution you as a fan not to get your hopes up too high. People are talking about Jaylen Brown, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. These are all good wishes. I wouldn't get my hopes up that high just yet, not off the bat. We got the NBA draft lottery coming Tuesday, and after that, once the draft order is set, we should probably get to hearing more rumors about the league once people know when and where they're going to be drafting. But until then, it's going to be quiet. So I really would not be too involved in or getting my hopes up or set on any one player, not even at OG Anunoby, especially not Mikal Bridges, not Cam Johnson, not anyone that you might think would be an ideal fit for the Grizzlies. Just know that we need an upgrade, or not an upgrade. We need a starting small forward. Now, the one thing that you have to remember is the season before last, this team, this core group that we have, Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and maybe Steven Adams, is going to win games no matter who they stick at small forward. If they play Zaire Williams at small forward, they're going to win games. If they play Jake LaRavia at small forward, they are going to win games. If they play David Roddy at small forward, they are going to win games. If they play Luke Kennard at small forward, they are going to win games. So you do not have to push the panic button on what needs to happen this offseason, or especially, how it gets once any team in the NBA makes a trade, every team's fan base is going to be worried about when are they going to make a trade. Just know that we need a starting small forward, and there is a slight chance that starting small forward might come from our current roster. It is what it is. Number 2, the Grizzlies need an athletic big. The one thing that we learned or was shown going against the Lakers' big front line, or basically Anthony Davis, was the Grizzlies have a lack of length and athleticism along the front line, especially with Brandon Clark being out. And I do expect Brandon Clark to play next season, but I don't expect him to be himself. I don't expect him to be in the playoff rotation. And I know that's going to be kind of weird for people to say here, but I think he's going to end up being more in that, recovering from injury mode, and he's going to be more in the role that X plays for the Grizzlies when everybody's healthy. That 4th, 5th big, that's going to get in where you fit in, and that means that you are left with Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama, and Xavier Tillman, and, of course, Kenny Lofton Jr. And the issue with all 5 of those guys is none of them have the requisite combination of athleticism and length. None of them are athletic. Jaren Jackson is pretty lengthy. He has some athleticism every once in a while. Steven Adams is big. But the other guys are not lengthy or athletic. And the Grizzlies got hurt by that going against the Lakers, and that's a thing that hurts their rebounding immensely. 3rd, the Grizzlies need more shooting. And this is why we already know that none of the big 3 are going anywhere. Ja, Jaren, and Desmond are going to be on the team next year. The question is, who among the role players is going to be here and who's not? Now, when it comes to the role players, the guy that I really want to keep is, of course, Luke Kennard. Not that I think Luke Kennard is anything great. Now, you got to remember that. I don't think he was great. I don't think he's great. I think he is a great fit for the Memphis Grizzlies, and that is the difference. Him and Desmond Bane on the court with Ja Morant proved to be deadly even in the playoffs, even against the Lakers. And there's a chance that the Grizzlies might have beat the Lakers if Taylor Jenkins would have played Luke Kennard more earlier and or Luke Kennard did not get injured and was not able to play Game 6. So there's that. The 4th thing the Grizzlies need is more experience. Now, unlike everybody else around the NBA who's talking shit about the Grizzlies, I don't think the Grizzlies necessarily need to bring in some sage veteran to teach them how to be mature and teach them how to win, because I think the Grizzlies' big 3 are mature enough, even though Ja had his bumbles this past season. I think the guys as a whole have shown themselves to be mature and winners. And it would take a hell of a player to come in and be able to change the culture when they have a great culture already. Now, I think a lot of the issues will be eliminated by just moving on from, at the small forward position, and the guys being refocused this season after having a subpar last season. So when I say they need more experience, I'm talking about Ja, Jaren, and Desmond Bane. The 3 guys that we're going to be depending on to make plays in the playoffs need to get more experience playing off of each other in high-intensity situations. We can't have a year like we had last year where they were throwing away road games, getting beat by subpar teams, and things like this. Next year has to be a year where they try to challenge for the best record in the NBA. And that challenge alone will allow them or help them to keep their focus throughout the entire 82-game season. And the fifth and final thing the Grizzlies need for next season is one of their young guys need to take a leap. Whether it's Zaire Williams, David Roddy, Santi Aldama, Jake LaRavia, Kenny Lofton Jr., one of those five guys, whoever's left, if they don't trade him, needs to take a leap next year. Needs to be a player that can be able to be trusted by the coach in a playoff rotation. Why? Well, like I said earlier, I don't think Brandon Clark is going to physically be able to do it. And I don't think the Grizzlies are going to be able to bring in enough people this offseason, now I could be wrong, to fill out the rotation with guys that have deep playoff experience. Now, those are the five things I think the Grizzlies need. And starting tomorrow, I am going to get specific with each of those categories. And tomorrow we are going to start with who I want that small forward to be starting for the Grizzlies. Peace.